Hi, class, Dr. Earls. As we now close in on finishing this course, this next to last week is an exciting week of study and your assignment because it's so practical. You're going to use this the rest of your life, and whatever role you have, God's called you to play in the local church. But this assignment for developing your strategic discipleship guide allows you to think through scripturally and also using Rod Dempsey's writings and as well the group plan that you look at in this week's readings to put together how you will help others in a small group, particularly even in a threesome, to say how to build one another up to send one another out, holding one another in a loving accountability relationship to fall more in love with Jesus and fall more in love with those that he died for that don't know of him yet. As Romans 10:14 and 15 states so clearly, but simply and specifically, how can they believe in the one they have not heard of? And how can they hear without someone telling them, preaching to them? And how can they preach unless they are sent? So that means that we want to be always about what our Savior said he sent us to do as the Father sent him to do, proclaiming God's love and his good news to others. Well, with that, a clarification. In the assignment, it says read the article. And then if you go into the module, it says chapter 1 and then chapter 2. So the first chapter in the module, that's your first assignment part of this week's work. What is a disciple? The second chapter is what is discipleship. That's what you'll do your first two parts of this assignment with, reading in those areas. These are housed in a book called Innovate Church that Jonathan Falwell edited, and Rod Dempsey contributed these two chapters in that particular book. So that's what you're using for this assignment. I'm sending with this video a Word document. I had prepared this about 15 years ago when I was working with the North American Mission Board. It was a part of our, what we call Nehemiah professors at our Southern Baptist seminaries that were teaching church planting, giving different ways to say modules, yes, as to planting new churches, house churches, traditional churches, purpose-driven churches, different kinds. We were using some of these resources in what God has blessed around the world, and that's simply what this attachment is addressing. What happened in Singapore, what happened in Seoul, Korea, in different parts of the world, how God has used and taught different churches to effectively carry out small group workings and to really focus the church in those small groups, the life of the church, both again, edification and evangelism being accomplished, and pastoral care through small groups. So if you have time to go through it, that's what that is about. It's just showing practically how God is blessed. But I do want to challenge you. This is really, I think, a direction God's challenging the American church to go in more, to realize through all that's happened with COVID, all that is happening over the last 20 to 30 years, that this focus of the local church in small groups helps bring forth more clearly the calling of every believer to be a minister and a missionary when we practice this type of church life together. So thanks, class. Hang in there. You're almost done. Thanks for persevering through the challenge of a summer session. You've got one more week to go after this, so I'm praying with you daily. Thanks for all of your hard work and discipline. All right, bye.